What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about a few different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about the Black Phone 2, a little bit about Scream 6 and Scream 7. We'll be talking about Final Destination 7, just a quick thing there. And then I'll round this out by talking about or giving my reaction to Bring Her Back, which since I saw that last night. Starting off here with the Black Phone 2. A teaser for the Black Phone 2 arrived online last week. Well, a couple of them ended up online, to be honest. Most of them I saw shared by Bloody Disgusting. All of these teasers, though, were eerie and very atmospheric. I was tempted to turn on Sinister after watching all of them, since I started to miss Bagul while watching. It's from Scott Derrickson, so of course that should come as no surprise. We got this new image of Ethan Hawke in full Freddy Krueger mode as the Grabber, a route I predicted they would go down since we know Blumhouse wanted Freddy. Now you don't need him because you have Freddy that you have created through Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone. They went down the right path, honestly, with the story and the supernatural elements that were present in that first movie and this question around how is the Grabber going to come back. You went down the right path. If you would have somehow came up with this narrative that he survived, no. Just embrace your supernatural edge that you already gave us and explore that a little bit further, and that's exactly what they did. We got a tease of the youth summer camp. And yeah, I'm all in. If you don't drop anything else, I'm good. I know they're going to drop several trailers, though, but this short tease was effective enough for me. What they showed us, again, very atmospheric, disturbing, unnerving, and looks like it's going to be one of the better horror films that drop in October. Granted, I know some of you don't even like that original film. Even if you don't like it, I think it is fair to say that it at least is well shot. Can we at least agree on that? But let's now talk about Scream 6 and a little bit about Scream 7. So Kevin Williamson decided to reveal to Variety during an interview that it was more than just pay that led to Neve Campbell saying deuces to Scream 6. There was this big thing about the pay discrepancy, but it was also about the part. It was like, you want me to show up at the end of a movie with a gun and help everyone shoot Ghostface? That's great, I'll do it. She was happy. This, of course, being in reference to Neve Campbell. But she also wanted a part. Actors want to play parts, he said during a panel. So we were able to tap into that and find a way in. Working with Neve, we did it together. She was with me every step of the way, and she was so supportive and so helpful. She walked me through a lot of it. I hope it shows, but we had a blast. Obviously, again, that last bit is in regards to their collaboration on Scream 7, which hopefully does translate well on screen. But the big takeaway is that it was always more than just pay. It's quite convenient that Scream 7 or Scream 6 was able to just move on with little change to the script when they lost their main protagonist to this franchise. It kept going with little issue, while 7 was completely overhauled. My point is, it's clear 6 was going to possibly end up being Sydney's worst outing, and Neve isn't wrong to want a bigger role. This is why I always stress how they use her is what's most important to me. Seeing her is secondary, because I can turn on Scream 1 through 4 if I just want to see Sidney Prescott that badly. I don't need new stories that are underwhelming. The way this likely went down, which I probably talked about before on my channel, is Sidney was never supposed to be in Scream 6. Spyglass wanted her. She was forced in, and then Neve's negotiations fell through. You could have avoided all of that by letting the writers leave Sidney out as planned. If Sidney wasn't somebody they had in mind to fit within their narrative, you should have let them leave that alone. But of course, you have to do what you have to do when you have higher ups telling you to start tweaking your script, and then you fail to secure the changes you requested. Then you just wasted everybody's time. I'm certain that's what happened, because it's just quite convenient that she dropped out of the project or didn't even sign on, and they went on as though it wasn't even that big of a deal, almost like you tacked her on at the end anyway and then came to her with some botched deal that she didn't want to be part of. Hopefully, Sidney's return in Scream 7 comes off more like than an attempt to save face after the debacle with Melissa Barrera. Kevin's comments do make me feel a little validated in what I kept discussing. She was not given a big role in Scream 6, because I could have sworn there is this notion that she had a big part or a bigger part. And the bigger part, I also think, was shared with us courtesy of some scripts that came online from Hello Sydney and some other reputable sources like Scream Trilogy, who have proven themselves to be reliable in the past when it comes to the Scream community. So Sidney Prescott was definitely going to be underutilized. It's quite a blessing that she was not in Scream 6 And hopefully whatever it is they cooked up with her for her return in Scream 7 is something worthwhile to the character. Because again, I will stress, quality is everything. This notion that it's all about Sydney, we got to stop that. Because if it's all about Sydney, what it starts to sound like is how she's used isn't important. She should just be present because it's her franchise. No. Use characters that a lot of you argue gave birth to the franchise. Use them correctly. Respect them. Honor them. Don't just write them in because they are quote-unquote supposed to be here. No, they're not just supposed to be here. You're supposed to use them correctly, especially someone like Sidney Prescott. Now let's talk about Final Destination 7. So Charli XCX has an idea for Final Destination 7. She shared this over on TikTok, and the Hollywood Reporter covered this. She said, I was thinking, well, shouldn't there be a sort of a It Girl version of this franchise? You know, like a Final Destination with It Girls, kind of like Rachel Sennett, Romy Mars, Devin Lee Carlson. Maybe there's like a Scream Queen in there like Jenna Ortega. Maybe there's an OG Scream Queen. Then she talked about a certain director being the one at the helm. The films wouldn't have to change their formula. I think the whole point is that they play into the lore. They kind of make fun of their own lore, and I don't think this one would have to be any different. Like, I think that's the point. It's really not trying to do anything other than have hot people die in the most brutal ways and play with some unbelievable dialogue. Yeah. So this has potential with the cast choices, but everything else lost me. Bloodlines was just way too comedic. And I think accepting this franchise as a series where hot people come to die in cool ways is going to harm it in the long run. I always won't subscribe to this idea that Final Destination never had a plot for you to connect with. That's a lie. And I'm not saying that humor was also never present in these films. Humor has always been present in these films. But the humor was done well enough in the past. The way they doubled down on the humor and made it more apparent in this latest entry, a lot of us agree that was not the right way to go. I get that we're outnumbered, it would appear, by all of the fanfare and the positive reviews that the film got, and that's fine. You're not always going to align with the majority. There are a lot of us that think Final Destination Bloodlines was just quite simply garbage, and we would like to see Final Destination 7 tone down on the comedy, or at least balance that a bit better, or at least don't have comedy injected so soon in scenes that really need to be presented in a serious capacity. The film didn't seem to take itself seriously on too many occasions. One in particular that just bothered me to my core was the minute we got to Iris's funeral, there is a joke not even a minute into the scene. It's as if the funeral itself wasn't even something for us to take seriously. Granted, I know they weren't close with the character, but goddamn. Now let's talk about Bring Her Back. So Bring Her Back is now my second favorite horror film of the year, right behind Sinners. All I can say is what a remarkable film this was. A remarkable look at grief and how desperate some will get when experiencing it. The child stars were incredible, but Sally Hawkins' portrayal of this unhinged but depressed woman had me hooked the entire time. I felt bad for her even though she's wrong. Like, she's gradually just spiraling all throughout the film, and it just hooks you. The screenplay is at its best by keeping you thinking about what crazy antic her character, I think Lauren, is going to pull next. It takes its time setting up the characters, letting you care about the siblings at the center of it, building intrigue around Ollie. All of that makes up for the mystery aspect being flat since it's obvious what is going on. Still, RackaRacka never held our hands here, and they don't waste your time giving you a scene with someone over-explaining the obvious. Since, the mystery of it all does fall a bit flat because it's quite apparent what's happening. But I at least like that they treat their audience like we have a brain, that we are attentive, we are smart, and we know what's going on. But yet the ride of it is still exhilarating. It's still something that unnerves you. It's disturbing. And this was a phenomenal film. It has great body horror sequences that stick with you. It's paced well to really let things get under your skin. And I can't stress enough how wonderful Sally Hawkins was in this film. The sound design is impeccable. I loved it. Bring Her Back is a remarkable film. If you haven't seen this, please check it out in theaters. I myself am going to do the same thing that I did with Sinners. I plan to rewatch this over and over and over again. I see so many people saying there's trigger warnings related to this film. And if you feel like there's a trigger warning, that's you. But I feel like I could watch this movie over and over and over again. It is so well made. And it's about time I got another horror film that made me feel like this. Let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, so you never miss a video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews I'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.